3. When you wanted to be healed by the Lord, don't go to the wrong place. All you need is to seek Him and seek His presence. Number 4, sometimes God doesn't work in the way we expect, but He still works. The Bible says God's ways are much higher than our ways, and His thoughts are much higher than our thoughts. Number 5, don't let your ego get in the way of your miracle. How many times are we guilty of thinking God isn't hearing our prayers because He doesn't answer the way we want Him to, or the way we think He should? We feel like we're not getting God's personal attention. Thinking that we deserve anything is nothing but pride, and we all know pride is a sin. Number 6, don't complicate what God has made simple. If God doesn't complicate it, why should we? Even the simple gift of salvation, one that is so simple, even a child can receive it. Yet we complicate it with rules and regulations. And all we have to do is believe and receive. Number 7, all God requires is our obedience, which is the main focus of the story. We have to do what God tells us to do in order to receive His greatest blessing. God isn't going to bless our plans and effort if we're not willing to humble ourselves and do what He says. Obedience takes you to your miracle. Amen. Enjoy the skit. Have a bless. God bless. Amen. Amen.
A servant girl from Israel is sweeping and doing her cleaning. She comes across an idol of her master. She picks it up. And at that moment, Naaman, the captain's wife, enters the room and yells,
"What are you doing? Be careful, this is our God. Do you want him to come against us and put a curse on us? Leave it alone and never touch it again."
Then she sees her husband and approaches him.
Go up.
Naaman the captain is sitting down while a servant is putting wet cloths on his shoulders. Suddenly, Naaman gets very angry and yells at the servant,
"Go away! Go away!"
Naaman's wife comes closer and wants to touch him, but she can't because of his leprosy. Naaman was the general of the army under the king of Aram. He was very important to his king, who held him in the highest esteem because it was by him that God had given victory to Aram. A truly great man, but afflicted with a grievous skin disease called leprosy.
"Please, husband of mine, don't worry, we'll get through the situation. I'm praying to our God for healing of your leprosy."
What healing? There is no healing. I will die. Do you understand? I will die. Our God's not listening.
The servant girl comes over. She then says to her mistress,
"If only my master would see the prophet who was in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy."
"What did you say?"
"If only my master would see the prophet who was in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." "Master, may I have permission to go?"
Naaman walks in from war, and his wife runs to him and tells him what the Israelite servant told her. She then says,
"Husband, our servant girl tells me that there's someone that can help you. She says if you go to Samaria, you will find healing there, just because there is a man of the God of Israel."
Naaman approaches the servant girl. He holds her face and says,
that if you are lying to us, You are in danger of dying. So, why should I believe you?
Just because I have no reason to lie to you, Master, I worship and serve the only true God, the miracle worker, the light in the darkness, the powerful healer. That is my God, who exercises kindness, justice, and righteousness. That is the true God.
Amen. Naaman turns to his wife and says,
I will go and ask permission from the king to go to Samaria.
Naaman went straight to his king and reported what the girl from Israel had said. Then Naaman talked to the king, and the king said,
Well then go, and I'll send a letter of introduction to the king of Israel.
Naaman comes back to his wife. And the girl gives the soldiers gold and clothes. So he went off, taking with him about 750 pounds of silver, 150 pounds of gold, and 10 sets of clothes. Naaman's servant then delivered the letter to the king of Israel. The letter read,
When you get this letter, you'll know that I personally sent my servant Naaman to you. Heal him of his leprosy.
When the king of Israel read the letter, he was terribly upset, ripping his robe to pieces. He said,
Am I God, with the power to bring death or life, that I could get orders to heal this man from his leprosy? What is going on here? That king's trying to pick a fight. That's what's going on here.
Elijah, the man of God, heard what had happened, that the king of Israel was so distressed that he'd ripped his robe to shreds. He sent word to the king.
Why are you so upset, ripping your robe? Elijah, the prophet, said, Send him to me, so he'll learn that there's a prophet in Israel.
The king stays thinking. Then he speaks to Naaman.
Go to the prophet of Israel. His name is Elisha.
So Naaman walks to Elijah's house, and he arrived at his door.
Go to Jordan River, and after washing 7 times in its waters, your flesh will be well, and again you will be clean.
The prophet sends you a message. Go to the river Jordan and immerse yourself 7 times. Your skin will be cleansed, and you'll be as good as new.
Naaman lost his temper. He turned on his heel, saying,
I thought you'd personally come out and meet me. Call in the name of God, wave his hands over the disease, and get rid of the leprosy. And why Jordan River, that dirty river? Don't he see who I am? The river of Damascus, but into all the waters of Israel. May I not wash them and be clean?
So the general Naaman turned and went away in rage. Naaman's servant soldier went to him and said,
If the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you have done it? How much more then? When he tells you, wash and be cleansed, please, teacher, don't let your pride stop you from being healed.
So the general Naaman turned and went away in rage.
Naaman, the prophet, said, Go, for the prophet has told you to do some great thing. Would you have done it? How much more then? When he tells you, wash and be cleansed, please, teacher, don't let your pride stop you from being healed.
Naaman walks close to the river, looks, and starts to undress. So he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan River 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And yet, nothing happened. The captain of Aram still had leprosy all over his body. 7 times. Naaman came out shouting with his hands up in the air.
I am clean! Just like the man of God said I would.
Naaman goes out and asks the people to touch him because he is clean. Then, Naaman and all his attendants went back to the man of God, Elijah. He stood before him and said,
I now know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is no God anywhere on earth other than the God of Israel. I'm never again going to worship any God other than God of Israel.
Amen. All right, now go in peace.
When the captain of Aram reaches home, he meets with his wife and tells her,
I will never again make burnt offerings and sacrifices to any other god but the Lord, who cleansed me from the leprosy that was killing me. He, the only true God, has given me peace and my life back.
The Israelite girl takes her master God made out of rock and puts it in the garbage and says,
Now you know the power of my God, the God of Summit Bible Church.